From turnstile to turnstile, let's talk theme parks.
Welcome to Park Hopper Podcast. My name is Dominik Evko. We are here with Peter Brookhart, and this is our first podcast of this, and I'm so excited to get started. Peter, how are you doing today?
Episode 1. I'm doing great. You know what? Let's just jump in there. I made a big announcement on our social medias. I do not exercise besides going to walk around the parks. I'm doing the Dopey Challenge next year. Right now
challenge.
It's the Disney Run Dopey Challenge, 46.1 miles. I got up this morning, 7 a.m. on a Saturday, ran 2 miles straight, nonstop.
Well, you just told me about that this morning, and I had no idea what the Dopey marathon or whatever you want to call it was. But, I mean, kind of explain it for people that don't know what it is. It's the first day you run 5 miles, the second day is 10 miles, 3.5, so
5K. A 5K, a 10K, a half marathon, and a marathon Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah. So, anyways, it's a lot of running, and that's all that matters.
So I got it's next January because it's literally going on right now. Today was the half marathon. Tomorrow's the full marathon here in Disney World, in sunny Orlando, Florida, with a ripe 34 degrees outside.
Don't want to hear it.
But let's get started. We're gonna do a little intro about ourselves and explain what this podcast is gonna look like. I'll go first, and my name is Peter Brookhart. I am a Chicago boy, Florida born, lived in Chicago my whole life. Recently, in this past July, moved down to Orlando with my wife, Sarah. You may have seen us on our YouTube channel. It's a daily vlog about our adventures, the Brookhart Project. And my wife is also the creator, designer, and proprietor of Plain Crazy Button Club. We are just Disney people through and through. We love the magic, but we love all theme parks, which is why I wanted to start this adventure with Dom, just to talk about anything theme park, ride, food, attraction, all of it.
Right, awesome. And like Peter said, my name is Dominik Evko. For me, I'm from the greater Detroit area, so Metro Detroit, the suburbs of it, not too far from the city. For me, you obviously have seen me if you watched us on the Fab 5 207. That's where I was on, and then Peter and Sarah moved to Orlando and started the Brookhart Project, which is an awesome channel. If you want to check us a little bit out more, me and Victoria, who is my girlfriend, we just started a vlog called Dom and Vic, and we have our Instagram accounts, which is Dom and Vic East Detroit, and we just go around the city of Detroit and try new foods, and just eat and eat and eat, and that's really what I do with my life is I eat, and that's okay because eating's good, and if you eat, you live.
You eat good quality food, so it's not like you eat massive amounts. It's not like you're eating Taco Bell for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Right.
You're going out. Last night, where did you go last night? Oysters?
Yeah, we got raw. First time having a raw oyster. We went to this place called the Voyager, which is in Ferndale, Michigan. It is a raw oyster bar, and during happy hour, they have dollar oysters.
I take offense to that because I went to the sea with Nemo and friends the other night at Epcot, and I just don't appreciate you eating the friends that I saw.
It's so aquarium. And I bet you had a cow the other day too, a steak, so you had a burger. I know you had a burger at Edison the other day, so you're in the cow. But we went to the Voyager, and there's dollar oysters and $3 cocktails between 4 and 6, so it was a great deal. And the oyster, I'll be honest, Peter and I texted you about it. It didn't really taste like anything. You put a little lemon juice in hot sauce, and kind of just tasted like ice. But I would get them again. I will.
I've never actually had oysters, but I'll try them one of these times. But to give you a little bit more background on Dom and I, where we met, how did the Chicago boy meet a Motown boy? We both did the Disney College program in the fall of 2011. Dom worked in entertainment. I worked in fast food. Dom had many, many special friends. I worked deep fryers, but I still made the magic just as much as Dom made the magic, and it's important that we cover that in a later podcast. But we met in 2011, became quickly best friends. After we left Disney World in January of 2012, at the conclusion of our internship, we both went back to our homes. I went to Chicago, Dom went to Detroit, we finished college. I got married to my then girlfriend, Sarah, who did the college program with us, and Dom was one of my best men. So we've just kind of even though we've been this, for what now, almost 7 years now, or 6 years?
Yeah, what is it? We are in
2011, we just finished 2017.
What's the date?
So
January 7th, 8th? What's the date today? Because we
January 6th. I got home a year ago today, or 6 years ago today.
Yeah.
actually. January 6th, 2012 is when I got back home to Chicago.
So we knew each other for 6 years.
We've known each other for 6.5 years now.
Yeah.
And majority of that time has been in different states. But when you got a good friend, you just got a good friend. Doesn't matter.
No.
We've met numerous times. We've gone to Detroit. He's come to Chicago more times than Detroit. He'll remind me of that a lot.
That's very true.
And then we come down. We try to come down to Disney World whenever we can together.
Right.
But this is another thing for us to do. We both love not just Disney World, but we love theme parks, and that's what this podcast is about. Is just food, theme parks, and everything of the sort.
Beautiful. And let's not forget to mention that, even after a college program, we both did stay seasonal for a little bit of time. So we've been with the Disney company more than just, because, you working at the Disney store, me staying seasonal. So we've been with the Disney company for a few years, even after our college program.
Definitely. So what our podcast is going to be about, it's going to be about a whole slew of topics. It's all going to be based around theme parks, but obviously today we're going to start with Walt Disney World in Central Florida because that's our bread and butter. We both worked for Disney for over a year. I think you worked, for a year and a half because you did 2 years of seasonal?
I did 3 years of seasonal.
So you did 3 years of seasonal. I did 1 year of seasonal. Yeah. So we've worked for the company for a few years. We've been going for many, many years. And now I live here, and Dom comes down frequently to visit the Magic Kingdom. So we're going to start off with a topic today about Walt Disney World, but what you're going to hear from us over the next coming weeks is anything from Universal to SeaWorld to Cedar Point to Six Flags theme parks, pretty much anything that we have experienced, and we'll try to get some guests in here that have gone to theme parks that we have not gone to or that are more versed in those theme parks. But we're going to cover everything. So if you have a topic, you let us know down in the comments, and we'll put some different ways in our information how to contact us. Let us know what you guys want to hear, because we are definitely all about providing what you want to hear and what you're looking for.
Sounds good.
So let's what do you say, Dom? Let's get started with this topic here. So what today's topic is for anybody that's gone to Walt Disney World and gone basically more than twice in their life, no matter their age, family style, or anything, you have some friend, a coworker or a friend go, "You're really going back again? You're going to Disney World again? Why? Isn't it the same thing?" And what we want to talk about today is how that's not.
And even with that being said, being the age that we are in our mid to late 20s, and people might say, well, Disney, people that never been to Disney before think Disney's for kids. And I'll tell you right now, that is so false and so far from the truth. And as hard as being as old as we are, and people saying, why are you going to Disney? You're 20-something years old. What are you, a little baby? And it's like, no, there's so many different factors that Disney brings to the table, and obviously we'll get into those and we'll explain that. But something about Disney, for people that have gone to Disney, and I would assume most of the people that listen to this are avid Disney goers, something about it just keeps on bringing you back so much, whether it's once a year or every other year, because it obviously is expensive. It just continuously brings you back, and it's Disney is just all over the world, and it's just in every aspect, from movies, cartoons, theme parks, restaurants.
Everybody knows Mickey Mouse.
Everyone knows that iconic figure, so it just has something special about it.
I 100% agree, and one thing we've done with our daily vlog, we've had the lucky chance to meet some people in these parks, and everybody we've met, whether we worked or just met strangers in the parks, is Disney people just get it. But what we'd like to do here is to shine everybody that is a Disney kind of person. This is all going to be old news to you, but just good knowledge to discuss and think about. But what we want to do is tell those people that don't really go to Disney how this kind of works and why you would want to come back. I'll talk about. I'm going to start this down with the most traditional way people go to Disney World in the grander, more maybe mainstream, accepted by society way, and that's kind of like you might go when you get married. You might go for your honeymoon, go for a couple days or a weekend or a week, and then you might come back when a couple years later when you have your kids, and maybe you come when they're 5 or 6, get the walk down Main Street, photo with Mickey, go on Jungle Cruise, go home. Then you come back when a couple decades later with your grandchildren. You want to see it. You at that point in your life, you miss that magic, that youthful feeling of watching a child see Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse and just light up. So you come back with your grandkids, and that's kind of a very traditional, common way that people live. Disney World. So they may not go all the time. They may go a handful of times in their life, but that's it. And those are the people that typically are like, "You're going back again?" Like to them, when they bring their kids, it's different because their kids are there, and then they go back with their grandkids because it's different, or they miss that youthful feel. There's always these checkpoints, and it's got to be a thing, but they don't understand how you can go 2 months apart or even 2 weeks apart, and it's completely different. And this is I'm gonna pass off to Dom because Dom loves himself some food, and he loves himself festivals, and that's what our biggest thing about why you need to keep coming back to Disney is because they got lots of things going on here, lots of seasonal things.
Well, even the seasonal things, but just kind of backtrack a little bit, just to kind of mention this is that, and I think when it comes to going back to Disney, it also depends. When was your first time that you went to Disney? So I went my first time as a little kid. I probably don't even remember my experience then, but I think that kind of plays a factor on how old you were the first time you went and how you keep on going. So for me, I went as a little kid, but as you said, we went on our college program and we went from August to January, and during that time frame, there was just so much going on, and I think that was lucky for you because that was kind of your first really Disney experience.
That was my first time ever at 19.
Right, and you got to see all the best things that Disney has to offer in your first time, and I think one thing you're kind of hitting at is like the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot. And this is a festival that I would say, in my personal opinion, I think it is, if not the best, one of the best things that Disney has to offer. And I mean, I've been to Disneyland. I've never been to the international parks, but I would have to say probably worldwide in all Disney parks. I mean, it is, especially if you're a food lover like me and Peter, it's something that you can't get anywhere else. People say, well, it's expensive. You don't get that big of portions. But the way Disney pricing is at those restaurants, you can get, say, 5 little things at each of those stands. And, it might cost you $25, but that's essentially getting a full meal at a restaurant and costing you $25. And in that experience, you just get to taste a bunch of different food items from a bunch of different countries that you might have never ever tried. And that alone is just one of the, I think, the best things that Disney has to offer. And it continuously wants me to go back. And I haven't been to the Food and Wine Festival, I think, in about 2 years, but I keep on telling people I want to go. Or if you haven't
2018's the year. 2018's the year. Coming back.
Well,
I'll pay for the tickets myself.
Well, I hope so. I want to come back for New Year's, and that's another thing, and I'm sure we'll get into that. But the Food and Wine Festival is definitely one of the top things that continuously wants me to get back into Disney and just continuously go.
I 100% agree. And to give a little deeper thought about, Disney knows what they're doing with their festivals, and Food and Wine is like the control. Food and Wine is over 20. I think this was the 23rd or 24th year of the Epcot Food and Wine Festival. It started off just this little weekend festival at downtown Disney. Then it got moved to one of the resorts as like a conference. Then it grew and it grew. And now, literally every year since 2011, they've added like a few days or an extra weekend or an extra week. And every year it is the longest festival that they've had, to the point where I believe it starts in September and then ends in November. Right. It's the longest portion, and it's one of the most fun for almost everybody because there's even a lot of things going on for children during that Food and Wine Fest. They got a lot of desserts, sweet treats. It's not all about just your wines and your beers and your mixed drinks. There's so much good food and everything.
Wait, and with these festivals, Disney is not dumb. They know what they're doing, and obviously, they have the Food and Wine Festival, but they also, coming up in February for the second year, they have the Festival of the Arts, which is basically a smaller version of Food and Wine Festival. And then in the springtime, they have the Flower and Garden Festival at Epcot as well, which is, it was in the beginning flowers and gardens, but it has basically turned into, again, another miniature Food and Wine Festival. So what does that kind of tell you when it comes to food is that, I mean, people like me love food and they just want to eat and they want to try new things. So, Flower and Garden Festival, you don't think food when you think Flower and Garden, but people want food, and Disney knows, if I put little food stands, people are going to buy it, we're going to make money, and the people are going to be happy and continuously come back.
And they have so many extra activities that we haven't even, as living here or coming here so many times in our life, haven't even scratched the surface. Food and Wine Festival has so many workshops. You can listen to vineyard owners talk about the process of wine. There's chefs that come in. They filmed the Chew, an episode or a whole week, I think, at Epcot that time, and that's a free ticket. You just need to get in there at the earliest time when you register. It's a free portion as long as you get that extra ticket. after your park admission. And same goes for Flower and Garden. Yeah, they've got that delicious food, but for those people with that green thumb, they've got workshops for the whole festival about how to garden, how to do this, how to do that, how to start a city, an urban um, garden on out of like trellis on your trellises and on top of your apartment building. They got
Right.
everything. And even with the Festival of the Arts, is it's a unique situation that they started last year as a trial run that's coming back as an official festival this year. And what it is, it's like a smaller, like Dom said, it's a smaller food and wine with very specialized. They take the food and make artwork out of it. In
Right.
addition to that, they've got chalk artists going on all of Epcot making temporary works of art, beautiful pieces of art, and they've got workshops for artists, workshop for food. So right here, we just mentioned three different times in a single year when you can come to Epcot and spend probably a good portion of your vacation there doing all these different experiences, vastly different than any other trip than you would than just standard Epcot. Everyone keeps joking that Epcot's going to slowly turn into a festival park all year long. I honestly would be okay with that because
Right.
I love all of the festivals at Epcot.
Well, I mean, if you think about it right now, how many months out of the year is there a festival going on there?
So you got maybe a month and a half for Flower and Garden. You've got about 3 months for Food and Wine, and you've got about a month for Festival of the Arts. So what is that? That's 2.5,
Close to
three and a
6
half, 3 to
months.
3.5,
Close to a
close
half a
to
year.
6 months right now. And there's like other special weekends and events and everything. Right now, we just finished. Oh, they have Festival of the Holidays during December.
Right.
So that is over half. It's about half the year as a festival because we just got finished with Festival of the Holidays here in Epcot, and just next week on the 12th is when is the official start date for Festival of the Arts, and that'll go until February, and then Flower and Garden starts in April.
Right, and the nice thing is kind of like you said, is people. I mean, I haven't personally heard people say this, but if people do complain, Epcot's turning into a festival park. Well, here's the good thing about it. Yes, Disney is expensive to get into. Don't get me wrong; that base price ticket is not cheap. But when it comes to the festivals, those are added on into the park. You don't want food, you don't have to buy the food. You can just go around Epcot, enjoy the other things with the festivals that they have to offer. I mean, it's just an added bonus to being inside that park. So it doesn't hurt anybody by it being there. It's just an added incentive to want to go to it. And if you want to try something, you want to do something, go for it.
Definitely. Now let's perfect segue there, Dom. Let's talk about some things that are special seasonal things that do cost extra. So we got two main popular ones, and one that I just recently went to that we'll touch on just a little bit. But that these are all ticketed extra charge tickets that you don't have that you have to purchase on top of your Magic Your Way ticket. So we've got the in the fall we have the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, my personal favorite. We've got the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party during Christmas time, obviously, and then we have a newer one that they've done like maybe 1 to 3 times a year for a little bit now, called Star Wars Galactic Nights. Um, let us know about this. That's not so scary. Before I overwhelm you with how much I love it.
Right. So Not So Scary is my favorite seasonal. Well, no. Obviously, I talked about the Food and Wine Festival. But when it comes to the holidays, I love the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party. I mean, the Boo to You Parade, I believe, is the best parade that Disney has to offer. It's just from the grave diggers and the dancing zombies and just everything about it is really entertaining with the Boo to You Parade. But one bonus that I think is very, very cool that some people might not even think of is that the park opens for those people that are going to the party at 4 o'clock. So you can get into that party at 4 o'clock, and then everybody else has to leave at 7 when the party starts. But yes, it costs extra money, but a lot of the wait times for the rides are, I mean, for the most part, about 10 minutes. So, I mean, you can go see the parade, see the fireworks show. Mind you, I'll talk about the fireworks show too. It's basically going all the way around you, which is also incredible. But you can get on those rides very quickly. I mean, the party goes from 7 to midnight, 7 to 1 o'clock?
7 to midnight.
So,
midnight.
I mean, you can do majority of the park, I believe. If you just want to go for the rides and don't even want to do the other stuff, you could basically do all of Magic Kingdom's rides just from going to the Halloween party.
I agree. Now on the flip side, there are so many events, so many things to do in that party. It's ridiculous. What I like about why I say, and I'm the biggest Christmas fan on this side of the block,
Right.
but so people always get curious when I say Halloween party is my favorite over Christmas, and it's because of the atmosphere. The atmosphere at those Halloween parties is incredible because A lot of times Disney World seems like it's for the little kids. You have a family with a teenager, the adults, and the grandparents, and everyone's kind of upset except for or tired or overheated, except for the little ones seeing a princess for the first time. What happens at the Halloween party is a very magical thing, and it's everybody gets involved. You've got grandparents dressed up as characters, you have teenagers dressed up, you have parents, you've got whole families dressed up as Mouseketeers. You've got all of them dressed up as all the different emotions from Inside Out. Everybody has a good time at the Halloween party on top of the amazing parade, the amazing stage show, the amazing fireworks, the amazing character meet and greets. I got to meet Jack and Sally this year, and it's the only time of the year that you can actually meet them in the park is during that party. So that's why I like it, is because from a 3-month-old to a 95-year-old, anywhere in between, they're having a blast, and you can really tell during the Halloween party, and that's what gets it for me, because nothing's better than seeing a whole park full of entire families having fun.
Right. Well, even the family aspect, you mentioned like people dressing up. Outside of Halloween and those Halloween parties, adults cannot dress up in Disney theme parks. They
I
will.
think it's under 12 or over 12.
Right. So
You can't dress up.
and I know Disney will. I mean, I don't know that they'll necessarily kick you out of the park, but they will tell you have to change because that loses the integrity of the characters inside the
Whoa,
park.
whoa, whoa! Someone's taking their entertainment pride over here.
No, I mean, that's something that they do. So that's one
No, it's
bonus
true.
of the Halloween parties.
Sarah and I have seen that since we moved here. The people coming in with something that looks a little too close to a costume, and where guests have confused people for characters, and when they shouldn't be outside of a Halloween party. Now, the Very Merry Christmas Party. This is this is my go-to saying comparing the Halloween and Christmas is the Christmas is more magical, but Halloween's more fun. And what I mean by that is everything I just said about Halloween is why it's fun, but Christmas is more magical. It's more whimsical. It snows on Main Street. You see Santa Claus. You see the reindeer. You've got one of the coolest parts of a Disney World parade, which is the toy soldiers, which Dom has a little experience in that during our college program, having a great opportunity to help those toy soldiers march along. But that's how I always put it. Is Christmas is a great experience. It's much more magical and whimsical, and then the Halloween party is more fun. But you do get free cookies at the Christmas party.
Right. I'll say for myself is I can't really speak on Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party just due to the fact that I've been there very many times, but I actually haven't been there. So
Right. You've never even gone as a guest.
I've never gone as a guest, so I know what it's all about. I know you got the. I mean, I've been to the parks during Christmas time, so obviously I've seen the castle. But when it comes to like seeing the parade and seeing the fireworks, I've never ever seen that, and it's something that I do want to do at some point. But I mean,
2018's the year.
I wish. So I know with the parties. I've had the cookies, I've had the hot chocolate, the snickerdoodle cookies are fantastic. The lights going down Main Street, they're absolutely beautiful. And it just, even going back to the Halloween party, even though it's the same park, it's still the Magic Kingdom park. What they do to decorate those parks for those parties, it literally, you're in the Magic Kingdom, but it just has a whole different feel. Like when you walk into the Magic Kingdom time, and you're walking down Main Street, and they kind of got the fog going down it, and you hear the Halloween music, and they got the spinning pumpkins, projections all over. It just feels like Halloween, and same with Christmas. When you walk onto Main Street, you see the fake snow going down Main Street. I'd rather see fake snow right now than the real stuff I got outside. But you just see that, you hear the Christmas music playing, you see Cinderella's castle all, lit up with the lights. It just has a feel to it that it does. It's very like a warming feeling. It makes you feel like just all this Christmas joy, and you just get really excited. And I think, yes, can it be expensive? Wholeheartedly it can. But that experience that you get, it's so worth it, in my opinion.
I will also give a little asterisk next to his snow statement there about the snow down here in Florida on Main Street. Being living down here now, and now they do snow in Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom at different times, and it's made of soap, and it hurts bad to breathe that stuff in. And I've never breathed it in more than this year, I think, just because of quantity of how many times I was at studios and was around the snow. But that snope is what the people call it. Snow snope is get you in the chest there. So yeah, there you go. So like what we just showed, like between Flower and Garden and Epcot, and between Epcot and Magic Kingdom alone, we've got festivals and unique experiences in the first part of the year and all fall and winter. You've got unique experiences. Now there's like um, there's what's going on right now, which we kind of touched a little bit, is the Run Disney events for your runners in the world. They've got about, I think it's like 5 or 6 runs. It's a shorter. I think it's like a 5 month running season here in Florida because of how hot it does get. I think the first run is the Wine and Dine at Epcot in October, and then you've got a various ones through the there's the Halloween 15K, and then the marathon weekend, which is a 4 day or 5 day event here in January. And then right now, I don't know how long they've been doing it, but they're doing a Star Wars Dark Side run in March, and of course the classic Princess Half Marathon in February. So from October to February, you have a whole slew of different Run Disney events that have. You look it up online. I didn't realize it until we were living here, and I was looking up the photos on Instagram of the Run Disney Marathon this weekend. People go all out for those costumes and those events, especially the people doing multiple events like the Dopey Challenge I'm doing next year. Four runs, 4 different costumes every day. And what's cool about these runs is every mile marker there's character meet and greets. So it's almost like people do. It's like funny because there are people who do marathons and take it very seriously about the times. But then there's people like, I'm telling you, I'm going to do that Dopey Challenge next year. I'm not going to have good times, not because of my athleticness or that lack thereof right now, but it's going to be because I'm going to stop and meet every single one of those characters because
Right.
they've got some unique characters on those paths.
So you're not going to come in first place, is what you're saying.
Uh, Probably second place.
Not
I,
if you
I
meet
won't.
every
I
single
won't.
character.
I might get second place still. I'm gonna hit that training hard. You just wait. I'll be doing a marathon by June. I'll be winning the Boston Marathon and Chicago Marathon 2020.
I'll believe it when I see it. Hashtag Peter win that marathon.
Oh, here it comes. He's just trying to get his payback for anybody watching our vlog or on our Instagram, Twitter. Thank you so much for the hashtag Dom Start That Podcast. We give you about 30 to 40% of the credibility for this podcast starting this week.
That's not true. Not true at all.
Let me just touch really quick because I don't want to take over this, and Dom doesn't have too much experience with his last 2 events. But the last one is a Star Wars Galactic Nights is a paid ticket event. I think it's a little pricey for a ticket. It was like $150 per person for a 7 p.m. to midnight event at Hollywood Studios. It's all about Star Wars. Special meet and greet, special photo ops, special food and beverage. For the Star Wars fans in the world, hands down worth every penny. I'm just not the biggest Star Wars fan. I got a lucky chance to go with some cast member friends of ours, so I got a reduced ticket. I think it was $70, still pretty steep, but I had a great time. It was great to see. I enjoy seeing. This is why I enjoy living here. Is I enjoy seeing people enjoy themselves. So the fact that I was in a park for 5 hours with my wife and with our friends, watching people just have a blast. They dressed up as Star Wars characters. There were Star Wars characters everywhere. There were droids everywhere, made by fans. It was a great time, but that's a great event. They've done it. They did it this past May, and then this past December, Star Wars Galactic Nights here in Disney World. So if you're a Star Wars fan, that's even something else to come back and pretty much you can come back on a weekend trip or a long weekend trip and just have it centered around one of the events that we've touched base on. And then for this is a real exclusive for the DVC members out there. We do have a special event. They have special events all throughout the year, 2017 and now 18, called Moonlight Magic events. They're really reduced. You have to be a DVC member and sign up for it, but it's free. So you don't even have to have a Disney World ticket. You just have to be a member, sign up for it for free, and after 7 p.m., you have access to the park, whatever one they're doing, until midnight. And let me tell you, wait times were nothing. Free food, free desserts, and amazing DJs and amazing characters all around. Just a fun atmosphere and a fun afternoon to have. So those are the majority of the special events that Disney World hosts that would make a vacation unique. Now, I'm gonna hand it off back to Dom, and let's talk about what it means to be like you and I. How we could come back to this park time and time again, do the same thing, do a different thing, go to a park, not go to a park, just enjoy it, live the Disney life.
Right. Well, I think it kind of goes back to what I talked about a little bit earlier. Is I think when it comes to wanting to go back to Disney and just enjoy it and doing different things, it all comes back to when was that first time Disney came into your life? When did you first experience that? And like I said, for me, it was as a little kid. And I grew up going to Disney. I went to Disney for my senior trip. I went obviously then I did the college program. I've been to Disney probably since the college program once to twice a year since then. And what keeps me going back is obviously going as a kid. I had that nostalgia factor.
And maybe I can convince Dom and Vic to move down here. I got a
Yeah.
free apartment for you.
Yeah. Definitely don't like this cold weather. But yeah, having that nostalgia factor definitely plays into that of me wanting to go back before the college program because I wanted to, have that feeling of, because from coming as a little kid up until I think about my 11th grade in high school, there's a big gap for me going, so I kind of forgot things, but I remembered a little bit in the back of my mind. So going, I was like, oh, I remember this as a kid, I remember seeing this. Oh, this seems different to me, and all that. And then once I went onto the college program, I mean, we were cast members. We got into the park for free whenever and however we wanted to do it, and so we would go all the time. And then you started to get those little things like, you would go just to walk around, just to people watch. Let's go to Magic Kingdom for an hour and just watch
Sit
people.
on a bench.
Right, and just do that.
Get some Casey's Corner, get some corn dog nuggets, and sit on the hub.
Right, and that kept me going back because I knew I don't have to go here and be stressed out and have to get my fast pass. I can go just to enjoy the atmosphere, and that's, I think, one of the greatest things about Disney is just the scenery of it all. And then you have the stuff like I think the real avid Disney goers would understand this is the Disney smells. I tell people that have never been to Disney, oh, that reminds me, that smells like Disney. And they're like,
I'll never forget when you guys came down in February of 2017. We met you, like our vacations overlapped, and it was Victoria's first time to Disney ever. Or was it
Right.
first time with just us?
No, first time to Disney.
First time ever. And I remember her mentioning about like 2 days into us, because we came in the later half of your vacation, mentioning like, I get what you guys talk about, what you and Dom have mentioned before about these Disney smells. Like, I get it.
Right, and so a couple of smells, like Pirates of the Caribbean. I mean, everybody knows it has that fire water smell. It's probably not even a good smell, but when I smell that fire water, it brings me back to my childhood, which, don't get me wrong, my life's great right now, but you have your childhood, you go, I just miss my childhood, and it brings you back to that. And then you have, like, living with the land. You have the Land Pavilion, you got the Sunshine Seasons food court, and just all the different types of foods they have in that food court. Mind you, I think that's one of the best food courts, quick service wise, in all Disney. But that something about that smell once you walk through those opening doors, it just brings you back to somewhere. The nostalgia factor, and then when I come home and I'm in a restaurant, I go, it smells like Sunshine Seasons right now, and people go, what are you talking about? And I go, you don't understand. It's weird, and I don't know how to explain it.
A Greek restaurant down the street from Sarah's mom's house in Chicago, and in the summer, if the wind was hitting right, it smelled like the land outside of Sarah's mom's house. And because Sarah's family grew up coming down here every 2 years for a good lengthy trip, so all of Sarah's families are all Disney people too, and we all get it. We'd walk outside. Her sister would walk in from like going to the gym or something that morning. She'd be like, guys, it smells like the land outside. And we'd all like run outside and smell it. Like, it does.
Right. And there's so many. You got like the smells changed a little bit now, but when the Polynesian had their big waterfall in some of their lobby, that smell, I walk in, it smelled like, it just brought me memories of like going to Ohana and having the bread pudding and all that stuff, and that's the smell. It's just, there's a restaurant
the Grand Floridian.
The Grand Floridian smells like Christmas to me. It just,
well, then it smells even more like Christmas because they have the gingerbread house
Right.
during the holidays. So it both smells. They've got a basic smell, then they've got their Christmas smell.
right. And I just think those little things and those little details that Disney brings to you keeps me wanting to go back. And the most important thing is just the customer service and the level that Disney brings with the cleanliness of their parks and the detail that they put in everything. Like you said, we'll mention about like Cedar Point and those Cedar Fair type parks, but as great as those parks are with their big roller coasters, Disney does something on a whole nother level that those parks wish they could achieve. And just with the cleanliness, the theming.
They set the bar.
They set that bar, and those are the reasons people keep on going back. And you get hooked and you get attached.
And obviously, we are unique situations by being cast members, by living there, and being able to be in a situation where we can come back frequently. Because we understand some families come once in their whole life because of financial constraints and everything. But for the families that are lucky enough to be able to come back more than once, I met a family through our YouTube that have become like some of our new best friends, and I can't wait till they come down again. And I was talking to the husband, and he explained to me they've been coming for a few years now and loved it, and didn't know they haven't found a good cushion spot. They knew they weren't going to move here, but they're both, one of them's a doctor and one of them's a stay-at-home mom. And where they live, they knew they want to come down as frequently as possible, but they didn't find the cushion spot of like, what is a good length of a trip? Is it a 5-day trip, like a long weekend, or is it a 2-week? Is it a 1 week? He told me, we were talking about it because we're talking about the Disney smells and the service and just sitting on the hub, walking around, doing the people mover, like we're just enjoying the area, the atmosphere. And he's like, I just want to find the perfect spot for me and my family and my three kids to be able to not have to worry about lines, not have to worry about crowds. Just to like, if we go to the park and you go, you know what? Let's just take a lap and then let's go to the beach club. Let's go
Right.
sit around the beach club and then not have to worry. He goes, that's what I want to find for me and my family is what is that? Is it 5 days, but not stress about heating up the classic rides? Is it 7 days and make sure one of those days we hit all those fast passes and everything, or is it just we kind of mosey around? And I think that no vacation is the same, but I think you can have a theme or a way that you do vacation. Because I have many friends that love to come down for 4 days, 4 parks, 1 day, one park, hit it hard, park open to fireworks, go crazy all day, and that's Disney to them, and that's perfect because that's what their Disney is.
That's stressful to me.
I know it's stressful to you, and it would be stressful to me. I would enjoy it, but I wouldn't want that to be my regular. But I would definitely. I love a good rope drop to firework day. You know
Right.
me. We did the 24-hour day in 2015. We were in Magic Kingdom for 24 straight hours. That's a whole nother podcast worth of stories there.
Yeah. Sure. And like you said, Disney, it's no vacation is the same, and it's all what you make it. And for the non-Disney goers, if any of them end up listening to this, there's a lot of them. I think Disney, and they think Magic Kingdom, and they think that's what it is. And there's so much more to that. They got 4 theme parks, 2 water parks, 3 golf courses, a dining and shopping district. I mean, they used to have the
Over
racetrack,
20 resorts.
right? And it's just there's so much to do and see. You could truly go there and have a vacation just at spending time at all the resorts. You really could, but
Dom-
people don't realize that.
No, and like there's little details, and this is what we're gonna put our information down below about how you can find Dom and Vic's Instagram and YouTube, and I'll put down how you can find Sarah and mine's YouTube. And what we do, we go to Disney World. On average, we've been here about almost 6 months now. For the most part, I can say we go to Disney World 7 days a week. Does not mean we go to a park, and people think we're a little crazy, but it just means we go to Disney property. That could mean I get off work at 5 p.m. I get home, I have dinner with my wife, and by 6:30 we are out the door heading towards Disney Springs or a resort. And yes, we're in Disney World, but we might go sit on a bench at the boardwalk and just watch the entertainment. But what I'll say is you can find on all of our links and just scour our content to see the little details that Disney has to offer. I didn't even realize until 2 months ago. Tuesday nights at one of the Disney resorts called Port Orleans Riverside, there is a fiddle and guitarist that show up just on Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. to 11. They play any song you want. You want to hear Fiddler? What is it? Fiddler on the Rock? Fiddler on the Hill?
I'm not sure.
Any song there, Disney, non-Disney, they will play it for you, and they're just a good time. They're two musicians that just love to make music.
Right.
Wednesdays to Saturdays at a different resort. This guy by the name of Yeehaw Bob, he's just a piano bar. Then you got dance. You have a couple dance clubs for non-children.
Jelly
and,
rolls.
Jelly Rolls, Atlantic
City,
Dance Hall.
Yeah.
So there's so much to do and so many little details at every little resort that you could spend a whole vacation. You could spend multiple vacations just looking at those small details that
Right.
are hidden and aren't even advertised. But I think they do that on purpose because what's more exciting than coming back from a long day at the park, going to get your children or your friends you're with want a quick snack, so you go to the lobby lounge at your resort, and all of a sudden you see this guy who's just having the best time of his life playing the piano and asking for people's names and stories and songs to play. Then you end up staying there till 1 a.m, and that's the memory of the day. Not meeting Mickey Mouse or standing in front of the castle for 3 hours to watch a parade and fireworks. It was meeting Yeehaw Bob.
Right. And those are the most, for me, just in life in general, but we'll use it in the sense of Disney, those are the most fun-filled times is when those unexpected things happen. One day you think you're going to Magic Kingdom all day, but then you stop at Port Orleans to go grab dinner, and you're watching a piano player play for 3 hours. Like, those are the memories you make. Not being on this strict schedule and stressing yourself out. But mind you, if that's the way you want to have your vacation, go for it. But you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And we had, to give another example of that from our family context, we had Sarah's cousin come down. her cousin, her husband, and 3 kids came down right before Hurricane Irma came through. And so they were actually supposed to leave the day before the hurricane. They got notified their flights were canceled and that they were going to have to stay through the hurricane at one of the All-Star resorts. So, of course, the parents are nervous. They're from Chicago. They've only been to Disney a handful of times, first with their children, and now they're going to face the worst hurricane Florida's seen in 20 years. So what ended up happening is we gave them our car. We took the 3 children for the night, brought them to Fort Wilderness, did a fire s'mores and movie at Fort Wilderness with Chip and Dale, free event. Me, Sarah, and her 3 little cousins had a blast and gave the car to the parents so they can go buy groceries and stock up on everything they would need for the hurricane in the resort room. And the next day, her cousin was talking to me about how she wishes we could do teacups, and then wishes we could do all those classic things. And we were talking about how what those children experienced with me and Sarah just playing with Chip and Dale, singing around a campfire, they didn't plan that, but it was
Right.
because of the circumstances. That's what those children are going to remember. Events like that. It's not the fact that they were here during a hurricane. They actually ended up getting out of the state before the hurricane came through, but they weren't worried about that hurricane. And yeah, they didn't get to do the teacups or I think they meant Mickey Mouse, but it wasn't those landmark commercial events that you see. It was hanging out with Chip and Dale around a fire with a projected movie in the middle of a forest in Disney World.
And you know what I think is, if you were to go ask some Disney executives, what is Disney to you? I think they would say moments like those is what make Disney what it is, and not so much all the glitz and glam of it. Obviously, that's what promotes it and gets people to come. Obviously, you said, hey, you can go sit around a campfire with Chip and Dale. People probably wouldn't want to spend thousands of dollars to come. But once they're there and that moment happens, those are the things that keep them coming back. So you know what? The smile I saw on my little kid's face from seeing Chip and Dale sitting by a bonfire with them, roasting s'mores, the joy that brought in my child, those are why we keep on coming back to Disney.
Perfect. And I think I don't think we can top what we just said. So I think we should end episode 1 of Park Hopper Podcast here. So thank you for coming out, giving us the time of day. We do greatly appreciate it. If you enjoyed what you heard, make sure you come back next week. This is all new to both of us for the podcasting realm, so we'll figure out how this is all going to get posted and how we can share this on all of our mediums and everything. But we appreciate you guys. We have a safe and happy week, and thanks for listening on Park Hopper Podcast. Once again, my name is Peter.
I am Dominik Evko. This is the Park Hopper Podcast.